Chelsea have just found out their next opponents in the Champions League. PSG. Next round of the Champions League. Chelsea have got it all to do. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to From the Shed End. Welcome back. We've got a lot to talk about. The PSG news is just breaking. So we've got Champions League news to cover. We've got, what else have we got to cover in this? We've got to cover the financial stuff, all the financial stuff that's going on. All of the stuff going on with the UEFA financial records. We've got the worst record, apparently, according to reports, we've got one of the worst records of all time across Europe when it comes to, just our finances are an absolute mess. We're going to cover all of that. We're going to look into that. What does it mean for Chelsea? We're going to talk about our fixtures in March coming up. Now we've got two added fixtures with PSG. Well, first of all, let's get into the chat. Let's see if there's anyone there. Subscribe, like, all of that stuff. If you're here as part of the live, make sure you get involved. Let's get straight into the news that's just happened with PSG. PSG. Here we are. Let me just move myself over a little bit. Let me move myself to this side of the screen. Might make things easier. But PSG. Now we know. This is the full draw. This is the last round of 16. So we now know that PSG are our opponents. Do you know what? I'll be honest. I think first instant reaction to that is I'm not that concerned about. I'd rather play PSG. I think I said that when we did it on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. I would rather play PSG than Newcastle because I think on their day, I know PSG are PSG, Kvaratskhelia, Desiree Doué, Barcola. They've got players in there. Vitinha. Do you know what I mean? They've got players. We know this, but a part of me thinks, Newcastle been served up a good treat there against Barcelona, Real Madrid, Man City. But I think with Chelsea, I would rather play, this is going to sound mental, but I would rather play PSG. I'd rather play them than Newcastle, who on their day, going to St. James's Park, it's just another Premier League. I think we would treat it like a Premier League game. I don't think we would give Newcastle the respect that they're in the last 16. In the Champions League game, I think we would struggle. Against Newcastle. PSG are beatable. And it's weird because if you think back to like the Napoli game, we looked down and out, if you remember, and we went on to win the game 3-2. And I think there's moments where it doesn't matter who we play when it comes to like the big teams. We always try. We always put on a good performance against the big teams. We always, when it's time to turn up, we turn up. So I'm not majorly upset that we got PSG. Just looking at the rest of the draw: Tottenham, Atletico, Arsenal, Bayern, Leverkusen, Galatasaray, Liverpool. I'm trying to work out actually who and how. So I'm guessing we're match one. So I think we can play Galatasaray and Liverpool. I think we played them. If we beat PSG, I think we go on to play Galatasaray. That is going to be an absolute mad game. Turkey and in Liverpool in Turkey. It's going to be a mad game. It's a mad game. Barca, Newcastle, Real Madrid, City. Didn't Thibaut Courtois, didn't he say that? Didn't Thibaut Courtois say after the game, the Real Madrid game, that he knows on Friday morning he's going to be waking up to the news that Real Madrid are playing Man City, and here we are. It's almost like he knows what's happening. But what's everyone saying in the chat? What are we saying? What's everyone saying in the chat? PSG versus Chelsea. Let us know what you think in the chat. Because I think we can beat them. I think PSG. Let's have a look at their results. Actually, Let's have a look at their results. Does it show us their results? I think we beat them to get to the knockout. So they lost to Bayern Munich. I mean, look at that for a game. 5-3 Tottenham. They didn't beat Atletico Bilbao. They lost to Sporting. They drew with Newcastle. This is what I'm trying to say. This is what I'm trying to say. Look, they just about scraped through the first leg of the game against Monaco, and then they drew with Monaco this week. They're not, when it comes to PSG, I think people talk about PSG like the Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, that PSG squad. I'm not saying this squad isn't good, but they're beatable. You can see that on screen. They're beatable. You can beat them. You can beat them. They're not. It's not that you can't beat them. You can beat them. You can beat them. I think anyway. I think you can beat them. We know different circumstances, different situation, all the rest of it, but we played them. This isn't like we why are we inferior of playing PSG? I'm up for it. I'm up for playing PSG. Can't lie. Can't lie. We actually had a decent run, if I remember correctly. So I remember saying when the draw was done and we realized who we were going to play, I remember saying that the Napoli game was the game that concerned me the most. That was the game. I remember doing the live. We did a live stream for it, and I remember saying that the Napoli game was the one game where I just thought, if we need to get a win there, which we did at that time to get into the top 8, if we needed to get a win in that game, I felt that was the game that we were going to struggle in. But look at our run to the last 16. Benfica, we beat them. Wasn't convincing, but we beat them. I think that's is that the João Pedro red card, that game. Then 5-1, smashed Ajax to bits. Smashed them to bits. Karabag was a bit of a mad game. We shouldn't have, I mean, you look at how Newcastle dealt with Karabag, we should have dealt with them the same. Barcelona, we smashed them 3-0. Brilliant game. Atalanta was a disappointing game for us, but again, difficult game. Paphos was a bit of an underwhelming performance. And then the Napoli game. So, look, we should be, I mean, this is a concern though, 17 yellow cards. But we should be very much up for this game. We've got to be up for this game. We've got to be up for this game. In my opinion, we've got to be up for it because I think if we can get through this round, and I think we do play Liverpool. Someone can let me know in the chat because I think we play Liverpool, and then if we win our last 16 game, I think we go on. Oh, I've clicked on the wrong team, but I think we play Liverpool. I mean, we should look at Turkey. We should look at Galatasaray, to be fair, because I think Liverpool might struggle in their game. I think Liverpool go into that game against Galatasaray away. I think that's going to be a tough game for them. I think that's going to be a tough game. But if Liverpool do get through, just I think they've had a bit of an inconsistent run of games in the Champions League, or have they not? No, they've done well. But then look, they played Galatasaray, lost 1-0. Opening game of the season, opening game of the Champions League. They smashed Frankfurt, beat Real Madrid. That was it. They lost to PSV. That was the game I was thinking about. Then Inter Milan, Marseille, and Karabag. So, but again, I'm going to say this. If we end up having to play Liverpool in the next round, if we get through past PSG, you can't, look, when we won the Champions League, we had a mad run of games. The second time we won the Champions, even the first time we won the Champions League, we had mad run of games. We had some absolute, even in the final against Bayern Munich, it was in their back garden. Like we had some, when it comes to Champions League, I don't think like superiority goes out the window for me a little bit. Like I don't think we can be too concerned if we're playing Liverpool or we're playing PSG or we come up against Real Madrid, because any team's beatable. Liverpool when they beat Real Madrid, were not playing good football, but they still managed to get a win against Real Madrid. So I don't think anyone in this, the way that the format of this Champions League is now, it is anyone's. I don't want to say this out loud, but I feel like I got to say it now because it's on the cusp. But Arsenal could go on to win the Champions League. That's how the format is. The format's set up for anyone to win it. No one. It doesn't matter how good you are, how much money you've spent as a club, what players you've got. Anyone's beatable in this Champions League, and we should go into this with the confidence that we can go and win our third Champions League. Now, PSG is not going to be easy, but do I think we can beat them? 110%. 110%, even with the team we've got now. Even with the team we've got now, because the team we've got now ain't that dissimilar to the team that played in the Club World Cup. And yes, situation is different because at that point, I think a lot of the players were on holiday mode. They wanted to, they'd played a lot of football off the back of that season. They're now into a new season. So things have changed. Circumstances are different, but I think we can beat them. I generally think we can beat PSG. I'd rather play them than Newcastle. I think playing PSG is just, it's just not good. Just not good. Playing Newcastle would just not be good. Theo's in the chat. That's why should we win? That'll be interesting, I think, as well. Then Man City, Real Madrid, Bayern or Atalanta in the semi-finals. We just got to play who's in front of us. I think whoever's in front of us, we just got to play them. Yeah, 20. Here we go. This is what I was saying. To be fair, Arsenal got the best draw, if we're being honest. But yeah, 2012, Napoli, Benfica, Barcelona, and then Bayern Munich. Now, if you looked at that on paper in 2012 and said, we're going to beat all those teams, and think back to some of those 2012 teams like the Bayern Munich team, the Barcelona team, even maybe the Benfica and Napoli teams in 2012. If you'd said to us at that point, bearing in mind, we hadn't won the Champions League. We got so close in 2008 with the United final. But had you said in 2012 we were going on to beat all of those teams and then go and win the final, in the way that we won the final, like you've got to be open to just, playing whoever's in front of you. And look, 2021, just as difficult. Atletico Madrid, Porto, Real Madrid, and bearing in mind that Man City team, if you remember when we went into that final, we were the underdogs. We were not the favourites. We were not the team that. I remember the whole build up to that final in Porto was all about Man City, and it was almost like Man City have won the Champions League already. No one gave us a cat's hell in chance to win it. We had to come that game against Atletico Madrid. If you remember how mental that game was, the Real Madrid games, the Porto game. I mean, look, I'm excited for PSG. I'll be honest. Here we go. Theo sums it up best. You've got to beat the best to beat the best. In fact, I'd even go on further. You just got to beat who's in front of you. Even if it isn't the best, you still have to beat them because, some people are now saying Bayern, Leverkusen and Arsenal is probably one of the easiest routes for Arsenal to get to the final. It might be, but Bayern Leverkusen, who would have said Bodo Glimt would have been in the last 16 and they would have turned teams over this season. So, no, like I said, no one is exempt from a thrashing in the Champions League. I kind of agree with it a little bit. Theo saying Arsenal's side of the draw is extremely favourable. So who do Arsenal play? I'm trying to think, who do they play? It's a shame we can't get like the actual running. Like they should have let me see if I can find the tree, because that might help us a little bit. But yeah, I think Arsenal going to be, and anyone who's joining, Chelsea getting PSG. I just think let's try and find the draw. So I'd like to know like the route to the final. No, I know our route is Galatasaray, Liverpool. Let's see if we can find it. Because I think we've got a good chance. Let's see if we can find it. There's still some really good teams in there as well. There's really, I think this is open. This is really, really open, this Champions League. And maybe that's the whole idea, the format. Maybe that's the idea, the format is just to make it as open and as fair as possible. don't know why. They just make it so difficult to find things. I'm trying to find it. Like the draw, if we had the tree, and I don't know if people understand what I mean by it. Let's go to like the Athletic, maybe they or Foot Mob might have it. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. That's everyone saying in the chat. Are we confident about Chelsea? Are we confident that we can get past PSG? Can we do that? I want to know what everyone thinks. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. You can always rely on the Foot Mob. Right, let's have a look. Can always rely on Foot Mob. Right, so this is exactly what I was trying to find earlier. So, yeah, so PSG, Chelsea. Then we've got Galatasaray, Liverpool. So our running to the final is absolutely nuts. They've actually sold us a dream here, haven't they? Because I think let's do it from a Chelsea point of view because it's a Chelsea channel. But I think personally we beat PSG. I think we beat them. 10th of March. Let's keep that in mind for when we look at the March fixtures later on in the live. But let's keep that on the back burner for now. So we beat PSG. Let's just for argument's sake say that Liverpool do get through the Galatasaray fixture and they do go into that quarter final. I think we can beat Liverpool. I don't have as much confidence. I don't like playing English teams in European competitions. That's my thing. I don't want to play an English team. I don't like, even if it's not Chelsea, I don't like seeing English teams. And I think we're the most, because I read this is the first year in like 12 years or something like that there's not been an Italian team in this stage of the Champions League, which is nuts because Italian football is like, they've got the heritage and all the rest of it. But yeah, let's say we got Liverpool, Chelsea quarter final. Let's say we beat Liverpool. Now let's look at the other side because you got Atalanta, you got Bayern Munich, you've then got Real Madrid, Man City. Now let's say for argument's sake, because that's tough. I think that's going to be a taste. That's the tastiest game of the fixtures, isn't it? Real Madrid versus Man City. Now let's say Man City don't go through and it's Real Madrid. I mean, they looked absolutely. I mean, 3-1 is a flattening. The scoreline, the Benfica game. Or is that over the two legs? That must be over the two legs. But either way, like the game this week with Real Madrid Benfica, it wasn't an amazing game. But they had a lot of injuries. There was no Mbappe. Rodrigo was out. Jude Bellingham was out. I think Trent's just come back into the team. It's tough. But then you look at the other side. So I think Real Madrid will beat Man City. And then I think Bayern Munich will absolutely destroy Atalanta. Because Bayern Munich are my favourites, I'll be honest. So I think if it's not us, we don't get to the final. I think Bayern Munich win the whole thing. They're just dominant. And like Theo said, the other side, which we'll talk about in a minute, is very, very generous to every single team on that side. You could even have Arsenal. Arsenal's running to the finals mental. We'll talk about that in a minute. But if it is Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, and Chelsea, Liverpool, I think we get past Liverpool. I think Bayern Munich would turn over Man City. Which would then mean, I mean, this could be a bit of a good or a bad thing, I don't know. But I then think it will be Chelsea versus Bayern Munich, April 28th. So we're here now. Can I click on these and predict? No. Oh, it'd be brilliant if I could. I've just messed things up. But anyway, yeah, I think it would be Bayern Munich, Chelsea, 28th of April, a rerun of 2012. I think that will be our final. I then think on the other side, I think it's going to be Barcelona, Newcastle, Tottenham, Atletico. That's the top end. I think Barcelona will destroy Newcastle. I think Atletico Madrid will beat Tottenham. So there's your quarterfinal at the top, up here. I then think at the bottom, you're going to have Bodo Glimt and Sporting, who I think, if I'm honest, I think that's going to be a tasty game because Bodo Glimt, again, like I said, not many people would have had them beating Inter Milan over 2 legs. So I think they'll give Sporting CP, as they like to be called now. I think they'll give them a game. Look, I'll be honest. Arsenal by Leverkusen. Yes, Arsenal's run into the final looks very good, but let's not downplay Bayern Leverkusen either. I think Bayern Leverkusen will be up for that game. They'll be up for that game. I think top down, I think Barcelona, Atletico. So then 7th of April, you'll have Barcelona, Atletico. I think Barcelona will beat Atletico in the quarterfinal. You'll get the semi-final in the second. I think down here I think Bodo Glimt will go through, and I think Arsenal will go through. But I think it'll be a really close. I think this is a really dodgy game for Arsenal. This is why I was saying when we've done videos in the past, we've done live streams. I've always said at some point, Arsenal might have to take their eye off something. Whether that's the Carabao Cup, whether that's the Champions League, or whether that's the Premier League, because now City are up their backsides as well. So in the Premier League, I don't know if they've got the squad depth. And some of these players are now they're in new waters. They've not been in this situation where they're chasing the treble, where they're top of the league and they've got the pack chasing them, where they're in the Champions League and their route to the final is actually very generous. So look, if Arsenal get through, Barcelona get through here, then you've got your semis. It's Arsenal versus Barcelona. I think they get smashed. I think they get smashed to pieces by Barca. That's my opinion. But I think Barcelona would get through to the final. And on our side, if it is us that goes through and we do have a lovely win against, PSG, we do beat Galatasaray or Liverpool, I think we can then take on whether it is, I think it will be Bayern Munich here on the 28th. It would be a tough game, but look, we weren't that far away from them when we played them earlier on in the season. So I think that for me, it's a tough game. But again, anybody can take it. Anybody can have it. So I'm going to go with Chelsea. I'm not going to go Bayern Munich, but I'm going to go with Chelsea. May the 30th, mark the calendar in your diaries. We're going to be there. Let's speak it into existence. Let's speak that into existence. But what's the chat saying? What's everyone thinking? What's everyone thinking in terms of how confident are we? How confident are we that we can get to the final? Yeah, big yourself up in the chat. Yeah. I think Bayern Leverkusen, look, they're a good team. I know they're not as like important, or they're not as good as they were under Xabi Alonso, but they're still a very good team. I think we have to sort of give them their credit for that as well. Yeah, I think Barcelona win that side of the draw, if I'm honest. I think Barcelona, yeah, they're just a different ball game in the Champions League. Yeah. Big up for Fabrizio as well in the with the knowledge of all knowledge. Yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm excited for the Champions League. I just think with the Champions League, it's whoever wants it. It's just whoever wants it. It's just whoever wants it. I think the worst thing for us at the moment, if I'm being honest, is that we've got a lot of fixtures coming up. And whilst I'd like to be, as much as I'm being optimistic, in fact, let's do that right now. Let's look at our fixtures. Let's look at the fixtures. So, obviously, this all starts Sunday, March the 1st. We got to go and try and damage the title hopes of Arsenal. Ain't going to be easy. Not going to be easy, is it? But we're going to try. We're going to try and damage their title hopes at Sunday 4:30. The midweek game against Villa, Aston Villa, Villa Park. Again, this is why when we're drawing to Leeds and when we're drawing to Burnley, it's now this is the crunch moments, the pressure points, the bubbling pot is bubbling away. This is the moments where, you know, we need to really see what Liam Rosenior and Chelsea are about, because, you know, the games are coming thick and fast. Now, we've got Aston Villa. We then play, I'm going to call this the Hollywood Derby. Todd Bowley versus Ryan Reynolds. I would not be surprised if Todd Bowley flies in for this one. I think Todd Bowley will be there. He'll be there. He'll be there in Wrexham. Yeah, FA Cup. Of course, 5:45. I'm sure that'll be on TV. They'll want a cup upset for us there. I then think that Champions League game is here. So I think we've got Wrexham, PSG, which they obviously haven't updated it on here yet, but we have Wrexham, PSG, then Newcastle. Again, that's going to be a big, difficult, tough game for us. And then off the back of that, we play PSG again the following week. And then we've got Everton, Hill Dickinson. Tough. And then I think we have an international break in between there, don't we? Yeah. So then I think the international break is in between Newcastle and Everton game. I think I might be wrong there. I need to get my facts right. I might be right. I might be wrong. It's tough. It's a grueling fixture list for March. It's a mad fixture list for March. It all starts on Sunday. We need to beat Arsenal. No, I don't care how we do it. And I don't care if it's a scrappy 1-0 or we throw everything. Like, you know when Liam Rosenior says sometimes the tactics go out the window and we just throw the kitchen sink. This is a game where if you're 1-0 down, you throw the kitchen sink. Or if it's 1-1, I want not just the kitchen sink. I want the cooker. I want the shower. I want all the appliances in the kitchen. I want everything to be thrown at this game on Sunday. Everything. I don't care if we have to rest a lot of players on Wednesday against Villa. This game on Sunday is the biggest game of our season. And it's embarrassing for me to say this, but if it means we put a dent in the chances of Arsenal winning the Premier League, I'm all for it. I'll even take a point. And I can't believe how desperate I sound, but I will take a point on Sunday. I will take a point, because anything that, I mean, it doesn't help us as such. It doesn't help us in terms of trying to secure top 4, top 5. But what it does do is it gives that gap. No hope for Arsenal. No hope for Arsenal. And I think City will play on the Saturday, I think they play on the Saturday. So again, it'll be back down to the 2-point gap. If we can reduce that to even 1 point, and they've got to go and play, Arsenal got to go and play City. So that's the biggest first test, I think, for Liam Rosenior. He's got to get a result. And we're going to do a separate video on that later on. We'll do our match preview after the press conference at 1:30. That'll be out later tonight. So make sure you hit your notifications, get them on so you don't miss that. But Aston Villa's a tricky one. You're talking, 2 days after the Sunday, which I think will be a really intense and difficult game for us. But that game on Wednesday is, again, even much more important. You know, Villa, I think, are still in third. I think they're still in third. So we need to close the gap on them. We know that Liverpool and I think even United now, because they beat Everton on Monday, just gone. I think we're like 5th now, aren't we, or something? So as much as I'm saying, you know, I'll take a point against Arsenal, the pack is closing us down as well, just as much as we're trying to close the gap on anyone else. The Wrexham game, I'm not too concerned about, but I do feel like Liam Rosenior, based on the fact that we've got 2 games very close together, the Arsenal and the Villa game, I do sense that he'll rest and change and rotate, rightfully so, against Wrexham on the Saturday next week. So I expect a lot of rotation there in that game. What I will say, though, is this is our only opportunity, our realistic. I've just done the Champions League, but there's some difficult teams in there. It can go either way. I think with the FA Cup, we've had a half decent run in for the FA Cup this season. So I think we should beat Wrexham, but I always think back to that League Cup game against Cardiff City. I think Lincoln was a tough game as well. We didn't wash them away. We didn't wash away Paphos. So, and I'll be honest, going to Wrexham away is, it's a difficult game. It's a difficult game. I can see why they've put it on at 5:45 for the cup upset. That game afterwards, Newcastle again, big game. I'm thankful that this game is actually at Stamford Bridge and not Chelsea at St James's Park. I'm more confident at home to play Newcastle. So, but this game here, I don't know. I've got bad feelings about this Everton game. Dewsbury Hall, Tyreek George, Beto's found a little bit of form now as well with Barry. I'm not entirely convinced that we'll get a win. I'm just not convinced. I'm not convinced we'll get the win there. But I'd like to think we can. I mean, look at that. They're dying for us to fall. Because look at this. Sky Sports, TNT, Sky Sports. They just want us to fall. I think all our next games are on TV because they're waiting for us they want to see the sort of the fall down, the burnout of Chelsea live in 4K, ultra definition. But out of those games, and in the chat, please let me know as well. Out of these games, what are we saying, Arsenal? Let's go through them. What are we saying? Arsenal win, Chelsea win. It's at the Emirates. Do you know what I'll say? I think we gave them a game in the cup at the Emirates in the first leg. I know it wasn't pretty, it wasn't decent, but we gave them a game. We played some good football there. And I wouldn't be surprised, and like I said, we'll do the actual preview for this game later on this evening. I wouldn't be surprised, and again, based on team news at 1:30 in the press conference, I wouldn't be surprised if we go to a 3-4-3 and have 3 centre-backs. We know that Fofana is suspended. I actually wouldn't be surprised. It's going to sound mad. I wouldn't be surprised if Caicedo doesn't play the full game because I think he's 1 yellow card away from a 2-match suspension. So if he does pick that up on Sunday, it's Villa and Newcastle. And because I don't think that the FA Cup game counts. I'm going to go Chelsea win. I think Arsenal, if you think back to, was it Wolves that they played the other week? Didn't look good then. I think it was 2-2 in the end. So I think you can beat them, especially at the Emirates. I think if you play Arsenal to their own game, you overload their box. And if you remember in the first leg of the Carabao Cup, we did that thing where we left the 3 attackers halfway at the pitch. So if they're set pieces, they can't bring all their players into our box and overload Sanchez. So tactically, I think Liam Rosenior is up there with Arteta. I think he'll give him a good chance to try and do something there. Villa, Villa's a tough one. It's a tough one. I want to say that we can beat them, but Villa Park is loud. 7:30. It's loud. Yeah, they're a bit of a weird bag of let me rephrase that. They have been a very inconsistent, but I feel like they picked up some form. Obviously, Tammy Abraham's back there now. He's scoring some brilliant goals for them. They've got Morgan Rogers, who's for me a brilliant player for them. John McGinn, I like him. Tyrone Mings is very good defensively for them. We know about Emi Martinez in goal. So they do have a good spine. And Unai Emery is a very good manager as well. So I don't think we win that. I think we can get a draw at best, but I'm not confident. And I think based on the fact we play Arsenal on the Sunday, again, I wouldn't be surprised you see a couple of subtle tweaks from Liam Rosenior in terms of the lineup on Wednesday. I think it could happen. Wrexham, I think, is a given. FA Cup, we should beat them. Forgetting the Champions League for a minute, because I think they are played amongst this Newcastle fixture. Newcastle at St James's Park is tough. Newcastle at Stamford Bridge, I think we beat them. I think they're going through a bit of a rough patch now. Eddie Howe isn't the Eddie Howe that everyone was raving about calling for the England job, calling for the United job. I think Eddie Howe's sort of struggling. They haven't been able to recruit as much as I think they would have wanted to over the last couple of seasons. So I think we should beat them. I'm gonna go a win. I'm gonna go for a win in that game. And this Everton game, I just don't know. A win. I want to win. Of course I do. But I don't see it. I just don't see it. I think it's going to be a mad game for us. It's going to be a mad game. So how many points is that so far? I think win for Arsenal, that's 3. 4, I think I said a draw in that game. A win there, 7. I'm gonna go for a win. So I'm gonna go 10. I reckon we get 10 points. I think we get 10 points out of those games against the teams in March. And obviously the 2 fixtures against PSG, you've got to factor them in. But I think we need to pick up points. This is why when we were playing Burnley, we were playing Leeds and we weren't playing well. This is why I was trying to say to everyone, we have to play, we have to win those games. Because if we don't win them, you're now coming into the busy part of the season where we're just gonna struggle. We're gonna struggle to pick up wins. We're gonna struggle to pick up wins. Let's move on. Because I want to talk about this, which is to me is absolutely shambolic. We're shambolic. Just when you think, I say this every week, there's never a dull moment being a Chelsea fan, and that's the truth. There's never a dull moment being a Chelsea fan. See what Theo's saying in the chat. Theo will be back next week, as I said, if you're joining this after I've said it, but he'll be back next week. We'll have the pod back up and running. He's away currently. He's done his marathon. Really good time. I'm sure he'll tell us all about it when he's back next week. But yeah, really good time in terms of the marathon that Theo ran last week. Theo saying here, we think we've got to play the second leg at home versus PSG for finishing top 8. I think we've got to play the second leg at home. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point as well. So I think that plays into it a little bit. Who plays at home first? You get the home advantage. You take that into the other game. But you got to play who's in front of you. So yeah, it does definitely play a big factor into it though. 100%. Yeah, we haven't. That's why I said I'll take a point. Because our record against Arsenal is abysmal. They've got our number, which isn't good. Yeah, Tammy Abraham win against us, I can see already. Do you reckon he celebrates? If Tammy Abraham, because he loves a celebration, he scored against whoever Villa played at the weekend, and you thought he scored like the Champions League winning final goal. Like he was just all over the place. But no, I think Tammy Abraham's in form, definitely. Theo's saying here, I think we'll be lucky to get 6 points from those 4 league games. Theo, man. We're going to need Lavia fit for those fixtures. Well, he's back. Lavia's been back. I think he played in the under-21s last week, Friday, I think, maybe. And then he was on the bench against Burnley. He didn't come on. It'd be interesting, actually, because under-21s are playing Manchester United on this Monday. It'd be interesting to see if he features in that game. I know, obviously, we got the Arsenal game on a Sunday, but if he doesn't feature in the Arsenal game, I wonder if he'll travel up to Manchester or to Wigan, where the United under-21s play, whether Lavia, because Lavia definitely needs to be back for those games. More so, because he'll be back. He's back in training. I think he'll be probably, I don't know if he gets minutes Sunday, but he definitely should be in contention on Wednesday. Maybe you give him 10 minutes on Sunday, you give him 25, 30 on the Wednesday, you give him 45, 60 on the Wrexham game, and then you give him a couple more after that. But yeah, he needs to be back up and running. And the Sugo as well. I don't know what's happening. We'll find out 1:30, but Dario Sugo should be back soon as well, because he's been out for a while. Obviously, we know Marco Correa's not going to be around either. So yeah, it's not looking good. But yeah, I agree with you. Definitely need Lavia back. Lavia must be back. Let's talk about this because this came out yesterday, and if I'm honest, I can't say I'm shocked. I can't say I'm shocked at this. This is what the thumbnail says. We're broke. We're broke. We're broke FC. We're no longer Chelsea Football Club. We're no longer CFC London. We're just broke boys FC. Yeah, we're down and out. So it says here that Chelsea incurred highest pre-tax losses in English football history over the 24-25 period under UEFA's reporting. And I'll be honest, I can't say I'm surprised. I'm not going to read the whole article. It's there for anyone who wants to read it, but things like this are damning. Like, this is a damning sentence or paragraph. In their third full season under the ownership of the consortium headed by Clearlake Capital and Todd Bowley, the club booked I nearly choked. That's how shocked I am. A 407 million, which equates to 342 million pre-tax deficit. Now, I need to say this before I carry on, that this is UEFA. Premier League ruling, financial ruling is completely different to UEFA. So UEFA don't take into account things like the sale of Chelsea's hotel, Chelsea's women's team, Chelsea car park, Chelsea tea towels, Chelsea plates, Chelsea door handles. They don't take all those kind of things that Chelsea trying to sell as a consortium. They don't take that into consideration. So that cannot be recorded as any form of like profit for UEFA. For Premier League, you can get away with that, which is why I don't think we still complied, but we still got, we're still going to get a little slap on the wrist financially. UEFA do not accept any of those things. So you can see here, this is shocking. Chelsea's 2024-25 loss was more than double the next highest deficit in Europe. So, not to sort of, treat anyone like idiots, but deficit is where you've had a loss. You've lost financial losses. Lyon, Tottenham, Marseille, Aston Villa. You can see where they are. How much millions we're talking about. We are, and I remember saying this, me and Theo spoke about this on the podcast. We are hemorrhaging money out of the club. And let's not forget, when the club took over from Roman Abramovich, the club was debt-free. The club was debt-free. Debts were wiped. There was no debts for the club to, for the new owners to deal with. There were things that they had to deal with. And I'm not saying Roman was an angel, Roman was whatever, but he ensured that there was a debt-free, clear debts. You come in, everything's clean. Everything's lovely. You can just come in, you can do what you want. This shows how bad financially this club is being run. I mean, that's crazy. We're topping 200 million in each of the last 3 seasons. This is why you need a front of shirt sponsor. This is why you need to not just care about, flipping players, because eventually, and this won't be a thing now. I don't think people are really concerned by this article right now, but in 2 or 3 years, we're going to have a conversation about this, because this is not sustainable. This is not, look, look at this. So this is under Roman's time. So Roman had us here, then we dipped, we dropped, and Roman, I say like Roman was the only one dealing with it, but the club, whilst Roman was the owner of the club, managed to get it back up. Then we dropped down. So sorry, the blue line, I should have said this. So if I do this one, so the blue line is basically, let's go for that one. So that blue line there is basically what the accounting is. This is where the accounts think they are. This is where Blueco, so this line here, Blueco think we're here. So according to Blueco, they think lovely jubbly, 128 million, 128.4 million. That's where we are. UEFA are saying, no, sorry, mate. You're here. You're minus £342. That's where you are. Because we can't take into consideration hotel sales or, selling your companies back to your own companies and all the rest of the loopholes that we were all praising in the summer. They don't take that into consideration. So we are now on the brink and the cusp of eventually, in the next 2 or 3 seasons, being kicked out of UEFA's competitions unless we can comply with their financial regulations, which I think, if I remember correctly, is a total of around 60 million that you can be at a loss for over a 3-year or 3-season period. So that's almost 20 million. So the question I'm going to ask people is, this is nuts. Like, this is unprecedented times. How do we get out of that? How do we get out of this? There we go. That's what I was just saying. It exceeds the 60 million euro loss limit imposed by UEFA. How do we get out of this? Because I'm looking at this. I mean, this is the answer I'm going to go with. If I had a red X, I'd X out Enzo Fernandez. I'd X out Garnacho. I'd probably X out Moises Caicedo. X out Liam Delap. X out Badia Shill. I think we have to sell players. And if Cole Palmer was standing in this picture, I'd X out Cole Palmer, because I think the only way this club is going to be able to continue paying these sort of substantial fines, that's going to last for so long. But then eventually things will come up to the point where we can't cope with even the fines. We can't even sustain paying the fines. I think we're going to either have to get Champions League the next 3-4 seasons. Shirt sponsor has to be a must next season, because that is 70 million plus revenue. For the life of me, a club as big as Chelsea, is it 3 seasons on the bounce now or 2? I feel like it's 2. It might even be 3. I can't even remember. I feel like it's been 2 or 3. It's definitely been 2. But 2 seasons at least on the bounce. We haven't had a shirt sponsor. And when we do get a shirt sponsor, it's the MAC was like, 3 games? It was like 3 games. This new AI sponsor, yeah, we need to do more. And I think we're going to fall away from, we keep talking about like the footballing side of things. I'm talking now about the financial side of things. Bigger clubs have fell. Bigger clubs have fell. Bigger clubs have fell away from us. And that's the worry. I think bigger clubs have failed us. So I don't know where we go from here. The 22, 24, 25 is all Blueco. 342 million loss is crazy. When Roman was making losses, he won trophies. I agree with that a little bit as well. Like I said, Roman wasn't like, I don't want to paint him out to be this saint. He wasn't like the man with the blank checkbook, but he definitely wasn't just all about the finances. Like, Roman wasn't just about how much money can I make, or, how many different training tops can I bring out. I think we had 1, 2, 3. We had like a couple. We bring out if we beat Arsenal on Sunday, I guarantee you these lot are going to have some sort of PR campaign rolled out. New top, new training top. I was going to say for the Chinese New Year, but they've already done that one, so they can't. But they're going to bring out something, because this is what they always do. They feel more about the money for me, and I worry about where the club's heading. Big yourself up, Daniel's always in the chat. Good to have you here. UEFA restrictions until 2029 have to break even for the next 3 years. Yeah, this is what I mean. So we can't report more than a £60 million loss over the next 3 years. That's just where we are as a football club. We can't report any more than that. Sorry, we can't report anymore. The losses cannot be that bad. So I just don't understand where and how we go from here. Because if we don't make top four or we don't make Champions League this season, where do we go? That's a massive part of the revenue. If we don't make Champions League this season, I don't know where we go. I don't know where we go. Nah, I don't believe that. According to Egg Barley, the club wasn't run on sporting or commercial side under the old regime. I'll be honest, everything the old regime was doing, and some of us might not have agreed with it at the time. Some of us might have thought it was just nonsense, or some of the players that were brought in, some of the players that were sold, and just financially, things you could tell. There was never a moment under Roman Abramovich. There was never a moment under Roman Abramovich where we were concerned about finances. If anything, we were concerned that we might be spending too much money and we might get a transfer ban. We were never, I can't remember, in all the years under Roman Abramovich, I never remember a time when we were concerned about, there was reports coming out that we were nearly £400 million in deficit. Like, these guys that are running this football club, they've got to bring in people that know about two things. So it's two-sided. They have to bring in someone or a group of people that can financially get this club where it needs to be. Because I've done a video on this ages ago, a couple of months ago, just before Christmas. JP Morgan, Bank of America are knocking on the door now. They want their money back. Investors are looking at this and thinking, you're 340 something million pounds in deficit. Get my money out of this club. That's what they're thinking. Investors are looking at this football club and thinking, I've pumped money into it and I'm not getting anything back in return. And now we're having to borrow more money off Bank of America and the interest rate's gone up. I did a video on it before Christmas. We are not anywhere near safe in terms of finances. And the problem is, and I'm a sucker for it as well, so I'm not having to go at any Chelsea fan when I say this, but when we see a new signing come through the door, when we see a Caicedo come through the door, or Esteval, or Giovanni Quenda in a couple of months, we all forget about all this noise and, you know, the finances. We forget because we just see a player come through the door. That's as fans, that's all we care about is winning on the pitch results. Who's playing for the club? Are they good enough? So that's what we care about. So if we see Quenda come through the door, we see Summer, we get a striker, we get Osman through the door. That's all we care about because we're fans. But on the flip side of that, all of these things are having a knock-on effect with all of the things that we're not doing well off the field. The finances, all the rest of it. It's having a massive knock-on effect. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I slightly disagree with that a little bit, but I get I get why you're saying it. I get why you're saying it because I think the results haven't been good enough. I'll be honest. I believe that, but I do think when it comes to Chelsea, there are moments where we just flick a switch. I would never have had us down to win the Club World Cup. I wouldn't have had us down to beat Man City in the Champions League 2021. I think even that Bayern Munich game, okay, luck was on our side. We went to penalties, we won, but we still had to dig deep and fight to stay in the game to even get to penalties. So I get where you're coming from, and it's a different time, different squads, different manager. I get all of that, but yeah, I get what you're saying, 100%. I hope we win something. Let me just say that. I hope we win something. If we lose to Arsenal, I think top 5 is done. I don't see us getting your Champions League. Will be 9 points behind Aston Villa. Gotta beat them. Gotta beat Arsenal. We cannot play any part in Arsenal winning that Premier League. I don't care how we win it, but we gotta win on Sunday. That's what it comes down to. It's only going to get worse. Only academy players plus Palmer, Correa that will get their value back, and the rest of it will be lost. Hence why the dreadful players will be. Yeah, I think if it gets to a point that we need to start selling players, then I think Palmer's on the list. I think Enzo's on the list. I think Correa's on that list. I think Caicedo's on that list. I think Estevao will be on that. I think anyone. If it's one thing this club has taught me under this ownership is they're not afraid to just get rid of players. They're not afraid to just get rid of players. They're not. They're not afraid. Yeah, PSG's a good side. I did say, yeah, I think you might have missed the earlier part of the stream, but I think we can do it. I'm not afraid. I would rather play PSG in the Champions League than Newcastle. That's just my opinion, though. Playing English teams, especially at this point in the Champions League, just worries me. I'd rather play a team like PSG. And look, I showed their run into the last 16. They struggled against Monaco. Like they're not as good as and superior. And I get, like you saying, the 2015, 2016. But if anyone had told me we would have beaten that PSG squad in the Club World Cup, based on where we were, based on the season that we just had off the back of that Conference League, not playing real top European competitors, I would have said no way. Yeah, not a chance. But we'll see. If we do miss out on the Champions League, would you rather miss out on European football just because I don't want to play Thursday night football next season? No, I think if we don't get the Champions League, I mean, obviously Conference League was, well, it was a hard watch, wasn't it? I think some of those Champions League games, you were sort of sat there thinking, it's 3:30. I'm watching Chelsea at like 3:30. But no, I think the players that we have, and I'm not talking about all of them because some of them are now Enzo Caicedo's. I'm talking about like the Giovanni Quendas, Liam Delap. I'll put Mamadou Sarr in there, Mike Penders, Andre Santos. Those sort of players. I think the likes of Gittins, Garnacho, they could even be moved on in the summer. But if we bring in certain players, is it where we should be? No, not at all. I wouldn't want to miss out on it. Because I think financially we need to be in something. Doesn't pay, we need to be. We can't miss out on anything. Ideally, we need Champions League. We need to be in the Champions League. We do, definitely, 100%. Newcastle or PSG would have been beating us. They would deal with us at their gaff, then comfy at Stamford Bridge. We'll have to see. I'm still on this side of the fence that you play what's in front of you, and you just go with what's in front of you. You just got to play who's there. I'd rather finish 10th this season than play Conference League again. That's from a fan's perspective, though, and I'm with you. But for some of these players, they have to be playing like the mentality of them has to be in a competition. And I said it when it was the Conference League. When we got to that final, the Conference League, we all wanted to win it. Like everyone was glued to the TVs or they're in the stadium. Everyone wanted to win the Conference League. So I get it. It's a bit like the League Cup for me. No one wants to play round 2, round 3 of the League Cup. But when you're in the final and it's Wembley and you're in the League Cup final and your team's walking out, you're devastated if you don't win it. We would have been devastated if we win the Conference League. So I get where you're coming from, but financially, again, you get money for where you're placed in the Premier League. Finishing 10th would cripple us more financially than anything. So I think we have to be in something this season, whether it's Europa League or Champions League. Yeah, I get it. I do get it. I get what fans are saying, but I just think I'm from an era where I can't even I can't turn down a trophy. To me, whether it's Europa, Conference, whatever, if we're in that tournament, we're in that thing, we go out to win it. That just proves that we haven't had a good season. If we end up in Conference League again or Europa, it just shows how bad the recruitment is. The recruitment's been bad. It'll be interesting because I think next season, ideally, I mean, obviously, this is what the ideal world. You want to see Liam Rosenior full season, full pre-season, maybe bring one or two players in if he can. You want to see what he does. And because a lot of people are judging Liam Rosenior now. I don't think we can judge Liam Rosenior now based on what we've seen so far. I think we have to judge him this time next season. Full pre-season, summer with the players, start the season well. If we get into the Champions League, we get into that. If we get into Europa, we get into that. But he's got to get this team playing his way of football very, very quickly. I don't think we're there yet. I think we need a Mike Penders in goal. We'll see. We'll see. I'm going to save what I think about that for another video. But let's get back to this report quickly before we wrap up. On the domestic front, Athletic have previously estimated Chelsea could have lost 300 million pre-tax in 24-25 without breaching the Premier League. Is that not come through? Let's double check that. Is it not there? Here would exceed that, but outline the we're just in trouble, guys. We're just in trouble. We're just in absolute trouble. I mean, that's mental. Let me see if I can get this back on the page. This is saying here that, I mean, look at that. Our wage bill is 605 million. I mean, that is just damning. Like, this is like, I don't know if any of you guys play Football Manager, but this is like playing Football Manager and you've just got no care in the world and you're always in the red. And at some point in Football Manager, the board have to come in and just reduce your transfer budget down to £1. This is what we're doing, but in real life. We're just hemorrhaging money. We're just buying players because we want to. We're selling them on in 6 months' time. This is interesting because I think we'll know what this is going to try and tell us, but it's just not looking good, man. It's not looking good at all. My concern is that there's not many Chelsea fans screaming about it. I'm not saying that they need to be or they ought to be or they should be. But in about 3 or 4 years from now, if things don't change, we are in trouble financially. We are in serious trouble financially. And I don't mean just Europa League. I'm in UEFA, sorry. I'm not just talking UEFA. I'm talking about in terms of long-term plans, long-term vision. All these players that we think we can attract now, we will be attracting none of them. We won't be able to afford them. Ticket prices will be through the roof because they have to recover the money from somewhere. We're in trouble. Yeah, agreed. Too early to tell for me, but I'm starting to agree. I think we've got to give him more time, more games, but I don't think him or Gittins are the level that we need to be successful. Wages are high because of 96 players on the books, not because they pay them high wages. Yeah, but I think as well, you got to remember, for instance, Raheem Sterling, 22 million. So yeah, he's probably a bad example. Ben Chilwell was on big money or decent money. We pay players too many, like the wages. It's just nuts. So yes, they've got it under control now, and they've got the sort of wage cap, and it's all incentivized. But it's still a problem, and that's including, Paul Winstanley's getting himself a nice wage. Igbali must take money out the club. Todd Bowley must take money out the club. Lawrence Stewart must take money out the club. You got all the coaching staff, the kitchen lady, the kit man, everyone. So everyone, that's not just the players. That's all wages. That's the people who print the tickets or print them. It's just everyone. Everyone that's involved at Chelsea Football Club. So it's just nuts. It's nuts. with this modelling recruitment, I don't see us challenging for the title. Mate, Daniel, we are not going to be challenging. If things carry on as they are, we will not challenge for the next 10 years. We won't challenge for the league for the next 10 years. It's not sustainable. You can't, in any, so take this away from football. In any walk of life, if you've got a business and you're using that much money or losing that much money, and you're leaving yourself in the red for that period of time, there's only one way this is going to end. And the only way you get yourself out of it normally in other businesses is if you fold, which we can't do, well, we could, but that's extreme measures, or you sell some assets to recover the money back. Assets are players at this football club, especially for UEFA's ruling. They don't take hotels and car parks and women's teams into consideration. So there has to be something that changes. Because if we don't, we will be the Everton of the Premier League. Bottom half, we'll be the Tottenham this season. Bottom half of the table, pushing up the table. Yeah, don't think they will though, but you're right. They're not my cup of tea. They're not my cup of tea at all. We're gonna round it off there. We're gonna wrap it up. I need to know what you guys think in the comment section. So if you're here after the live, comment, make sure you've liked the video, leave your thoughts, Linktree link in the description. We're going to have the Arsenal preview will be out. I was going to say tonight, it'll be out tomorrow because our game's on Sunday, Saturday tomorrow. So that'll be out tomorrow. So make sure you hit your notifications, get them all on, make sure you get them there. Before we go actually, because obviously it's live stream, quickly in the chat, if you're here, drop your score predictions for Arsenal, Chelsea. So if you're here as part of the live now, before we wrap up, give me your score predictions. Let's see them. Let's flash them up on the screen of all of you in here. Are we beating Arsenal? Are we going to beat Arsenal? (3-1) Arsenal. Daniel, man, it's Friday. I'm trying to enjoy a Friday. I like it though. I like the fact that you're being realistic. It's not like some Chelsea fans where they'll 3-1 Arsenal. Everyone's saying 3-1. Let's see. 3-1 Arsenal. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing at all. Yeah, definitely better than us. I think it'd be close. I don't think it'd be a 3-1 game. I think it'd be a lot closer than that. I think I think it'd be a lot closer. I hope it's a lot closer, but you're right. They've got the quality, but yeah, we just hope we need to turn up. But look, let's leave it there. Enjoy your weekends. Up the Chelsea, blue coat out, all of that stuff. We'll be back soon. Hit the notification bell. Arsenal preview out tomorrow. Predictions, all of that stuff. We got Liam Rosenior's press conference at 1:30. So make sure you head over to our Instagram, Twitter for all the latest news as well. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back soon. Enjoy your weekend.